Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we are going to do something really cool. I am on my way to pick up Ben, the owner of Eurotackle, and I'm taking him sturgeon fishing, hopefully to catch his first sturgeon here in the Wisconsin hook and line sturgeon season. So we just got set up. We got 6 rods in the water. I'm here with Ben from Eurotackle.
Hi guys.
And Ben's a good friend of mine, and this is actually the first time we've gotten to fish together, but I've been working with Eurotackle for quite a few years, and you know, if you guys watch my channel, you know I've caught a lot of fish on Eurotackle lures, and Eurotackle is one of the best companies I've ever worked with, and Ben's an awesome guy. So he's never caught a sturgeon. He really would like to get one today, so we're gonna put some time in on the water, and we're in the right spot. I mean, we've been seeing fish jumping all around us. We've seen them on live scope. It's just a matter of time. We got to wait them out and wait for one of those things to come by and vacuum up the bait. So it's a waiting game for these fish. It's not a fast and furious kind of fishing, but when you hook one, the chaos begins. So while we're waiting for a bite, I thought we'd talk to Ben a little bit and hear from him kind of how Eurotackle got started, maybe where it's going, and just a little bit about Ben's passion for fishing and creating fishing lures. So how did Eurotackle get started, Ben?
So I moved in US about 10 years ago because I met the person who's now my wife. I had a friend that sponsored me when I was fishing in Europe that makes a product that's called a mummy worm. So it's a preserved wax worm. Mm-hmm. And he thought it would be cool if I could sell some in a bait shop that I was working at the time, so he could tell his friends that he has his products in US. So he shipped me a couple hundreds of them, and I put them in the store I was working at, and they sold very quick. Pretty big surprise.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I took my truck and I went in other stores and sold them, and within like a week I had 25 stores selling that product.
Okay.
So I just bought more from him, and he shipped them to me, and I took my truck, went to New York, and I realized there was a lot more stores in New York. So I reached out to a distributor, a wholesaler, that said that this product would be good for ice fishing. And that's pretty much how the brand started, because when I got into that distributor, it opened a lot of doors into a lot of opportunities to get products into bait shop. But it wasn't really a fishing brand at the time. It was just like selling some fishing products. Sure. While I was doing other work like landscaping and working in a bait shop. I was fishing a lot at the time, and I realized there was a lot of things that I was using in Europe that I couldn't find in the US market.
Sure.
Like, for example, a 2-inch swim bait at the time was hard to find. You could find some other brands, but not really well distributed. And if you were going in most bait shop, finding a 2-inch paddle tail wasn't easy. And
yeah, for sure. I remember those days.
Yeah, exactly. So in Europe, we use a lot of those, and there's a lot of them available. And I started working on a design, and then I was like, I need to find a factory. And I now work with a great factory in Ukraine. I flew there, worked with them on a few soft lure design. A lot of people were doing the transition from natural bait to soft plastic, so that was a good transition for the brand too. And
it was good timing.
Yes, exactly.
Yep,
there was
sure.
really that 10 years ago was like that transition.
Yep.
And went there, worked on a few projects, came back with a few samples, tested them, liked some of them, didn't like some of them, and we went from having one product to having 6 or 7 products. Then I needed to get some jiggets that fit the product, and slowly started to build a brand. A brand that was mostly popular for ice fishing for a while, but for the past 4 years it's really started to be more open water.
Yes.
Especially after 2 pretty slow ice season because of the weather. But yeah, it has been a great adventure. We have now a lot of different products. So that's really how Eurotackle was born, by surprise.
Okay.
And then grew it by passion.
How did you get into the hard lures? Because I know that's a big seller now, is like the Z Viber and the Z Spender and kind of more those micro finesse hard baits.
So the hard baits, I never thought about doing hard baits until I started to fish a lot for trout in the Northeast, and I realized there was no 2-inch suspending jerkbait.
Yep.
And that was really annoying. I really wanted one. I wanted to be able to pause the lure in front of those fish, and there wasn't any lure doing it. There was a lot of floating and suspending and sinking, which is great for a lot of application, but you do need a suspending in a lot of cases.
Yep.
So I had to find a possibility to make one. It was really hard to do, and that's probably why you don't see a lot of tiny ones that suspend.
Getting an action right on a small bait is 10 times harder than on a big bait.
Much harder. So it took a couple years working with the right people to help me build that, and that was like the first product that I developed that took so long. But once I did it, I knew how to make hard bait, and it didn't matter what type of hard bait. I had the right person to work with it, so we started to work on a lot more, including the Z-Viber. And actually, the Z-Viber came out before the jerkbait because it took a lot more time to test the jerkbait and get the action right. But that was the first one I worked on.
Okay.
And once you work on a hard bait, you can do all type of hard bait. You just have to take the time to prototype it, test it, and then launch it in production.
Yep, and one of the newest ones that just came out last week is the Naj, which I've been privileged to use here for a couple weeks, and I've been really impressed with that bait too. It's got a crazy good action.
It is.
And it's super consistent. It doesn't roll over no matter how fast you retrieve it, and it swims, and then when you twitch it, it just turns sideways, and it's a big trigger for fish. So I'm excited to use that like next spring when the fish are shallow.
It's a lot of fun. Swim bait fishing, there is just something special about it. And growing up in Europe, we do a lot of big swim bait fishing for pike, even for perch. You know, we forget that in Europe we fish for perch with sometimes pretty big swim bait as well.
Right. Yeah, you're talking 3-4 pound, 5-pound perch sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. We start to hear about 7-pounder now, which
crazy.
is kind of ridiculous. I think my biggest one is 4 pound, and it just looked like an animal from another planet.
Yeah, that's wild.
I don't even imagine like a 7-pounder.
We get a 7-ouncer and we're happy.
For sure, for sure. But the Nash is a great bait. I wanted a swim bait that would not only swim, but just like you said, that you could also glide.
Yep.
And also I wanted it to be versatile, not only like a big swim bait, like the trend wants it. You know, we think swim bait, we think big, but why not bringing a micro version for panfish, for trout, for bait finesse, for bass, and a 4.75 inch that everybody can throw on a regular spinning or casting setup. A medium heavy, even medium can work for that lure.
Right. Yeah. And I mean I even put one down on a downrigger last week and caught a lake trout on it. So I'll leave a link for that video down below, because that one should be done before this one, and that's a pretty cool video. So yeah, that was neat.
That was amazing to see the picture.
Like, I gotta try it because it looks so good in the water. I was like, a lake trout's gonna eat that for sure.
That was a good idea.
So what is the future of Eurotackle from your perspective?
The future, honestly, it's hard to say, because I only do a product if I know that we can bring an advantage. If there is no reason to bring an advantage on the product that has been dialed in by a lot of brands, there is no point for me to
the big sturgeon just jumped to the right of us here.
There is no point for me to do it, because people have done it right. So it's by
that makes sense.
Spending time on the water, fishing, realizing what the market needs, what can be improved, that I decide to work on the product or not. But definitely we're gonna stay in that finesse, ultralight, bait finesse market, ice fishing market, which I consider ultralight, because all the ice fishing product can be used in open water as well. And that's really what we focus on. So that's the future. Keep bringing the right product to the people that like to fish light, ultralight.
Good. And that's why I've worked with Eurotackle for so long, and that's why I like Eurotackle, is because you designed baits from the start, especially like you said, that Z-Spender. There wasn't a bait to do what Ben wanted it to do, so he designed it. And that's how I think too. Like, if there's not a point, if you're just copying something else or doing something just again that somebody else has already done, it's just not quite as rewarding, right? And
there is no point.
There's no point. So be an innovator, and that's what Eurotackle's been. They've been an innovator, Ben's been an innovator, and he's always looking for something missing to, put something in position to fill that void. So,
but there is also something that we can't forget. It's a teamwork, and you've been part of it. I don't have all the knowledge. Of course, there is some field where I think I can really develop a product from scratch by myself, but there is a lot of things like ice fishing. I am not an expert. I love ultralight fishing, and there is a lot of similarities, but I need guys like Caleb, guys like Blake, and a bunch of other guys. I can't name them all. There is too many that have been helping from the beginning, but it's a teamwork. It really is.
Yeah, and I'm glad to be part of the team. So, well, thanks, Ben. That kind of gives people a little bit of an idea of kind of the basics of Eurotackle and where it started. So I think that's awesome. People have been seeing me using Eurotackle for years, and I think it'll be cool for them to see, kind of meet the face of Eurotackle.
Well, thanks for the opportunity of letting me talk about the brand and fishing today for something totally new.
Yeah, no, and I think we're gonna hook up here before too long. We're definitely surrounded by fish, so now we just gotta wait. All right, guys. Well, the sturgeon have kicked our butts completely today. We saw so many fish, but they were all super high in the water column, and we never really saw them go down to the bottom and feed. Pretty sure that has to do with just the warm temps. It's like 87 right now, which is crazy for September. And usually you want those water temps dropping for sturgeon fishing. So we gave it our best shot, but we're gonna catch some smallmouth now, hopefully here on the river, and bend the rods a little bit to kind of wrap up the day. So I'm gonna have Ben make the first cast, see if he can hook up right away here.
That's a lot of pressure.
There's about 3 holes that I fish right in this area, and this one usually has a couple. There you go. Fish on.
That's crazy. Tiny river. It's not a bad fish.
No, that's on the new Naj right there, 4-inch.
Yep. Straight in.
They love it.
Yep.
Smallmouth seem to really like that bait.
For sure. Look at this. Even the smallmouths, they take it.
Yep.
Come here, puppy.
Nice chunky fish though.
Yep.
You liked it.
Yeah, man, those BKK hooks, such a pain to remove.
They're good hooks though.
But they do land the fish.
Oh, there's one. I don't know yet. I think it's a pike. Yep, pike. That was a cool bite.
That bite really hard.
Yep. He wasn't messing around. That's on the rainbow trout color. All right, couple fish on the first hole. Now we're at spot number 2. Some good old-fashioned river smallmouth. We'll see if Ben can do it again on his first cast here. There you go. Yeah, you got one. That's a little better one. That's a better one. That's a nice one. Oh yeah. Now we're talking, buddy.
You're not kidding. Tiny river, big smallmouth.
Now we're talking. Look at that hog. That's a tank, dude.
It is. Incredible.
That's a probably 4-pounder.
Yeah, I'd say so.
What color is that?
That's the alewife.
Alewife, yeah. It
Yeah,
looks like a
alewife.
shiner, which is what these things are eating all the time here.
There it is. There's this one.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a river shiner.
But that's a river fish right there.
Yeah.
What a beauty.
Nice job.
Incredible.
He's got another nice one. Oh, that's awesome.
It is.
That bait is proving to be a smallmouth killer.
Yeah, they love the swim bait. And I think if it was even bigger, they would still take it. So maybe we'll work on a bigger version.
I think we should.
Oh, that's no good.
Oh, it's decent. Maybe a power.
Good job.
There we go, guys. One more nice river smallmouth. And I'd say we definitely salvaged the day here.
It was fun.
And had a lot of fun catching these fish. Especially on the notch. That's an awesome swim bait for smallmouth. So, well, thanks, Ben.
Thank you for having me. It was a
bet.
great experience fishing for sturgeon, first time.
Yep.
And ending up the day with smallmouth and even some pike.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Little mixed bag. Caught a couple walleyes back there too. So.
Yes. Next time you're coming my way.
Okay. Sounds good. Nicaragua it is. So, if you guys want to check out Eurotackle, I'll leave a link below for the website too. They've got so much cool stuff on there, so definitely check it out. We'll see you next time. Get hooked up.